Hey guys, it's Gojo here, and today we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 4 and 5, my thoughts and predictions about this season and the next season. So I know I don't really normally talk about shit like this on my YouTube channel, but fuck it, I don't have many viewers anyway, so might as well talk about whatever I want, right? So yeah, let's get into it. So I have a couple things, a list, if you say, composed of things, thoughts, things I didn't like, things I loved, about Stranger Things Season 4. So, one of the first things I wanted to talk about was a major W for all of us in this community of stoners. And you know what I'm talking about. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Argyle. I'm not too sure of his last name. I'll probably put it on the screen now. But Argyle was literally the hero of the first part of the season, bro. Like, legitimately, I can't tell you how hype I was when they introduced this character. When I found out Jonathan was going to be a stoner, I was livid. I found out that he had a stoner best friend, I was even more livid. But yeah, that was a huge dub, and I love to see it. I love to see it. But I do enjoy the fact that they even had a mention of weed. That's just a W for the stoner community as a whole in general. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I want to move into more of the aspect of something I didn't like at all about the show. And that would be the whole the fundamental teardown of Elle as a character. I really just... This scene is the one in particular I'm talking about. I know if you're a avid watcher of my channel, you probably felt around the same feeling that I felt of just pure cringe invoking and taking over your body. You probably got up out of your seat and left the room when this scene happened. Now, there was a couple more scenes like that I just didn't really like with Elle in the beginning, like as Jane. We'll call her Jane in the beginning because she kind of turns into more of Elle when her hair gets cut again. She just turns into this boss-ass bad bitch. Like, fuck yeah, dude. She just fucks up everybody in the later half of the season. But in the beginning, I don't know, her character, she didn't really carry herself that well. Like, I get that the bullies existed and stuff, but like, I don't know. I just feel like the way that Max kind of like trained her to like not really give a fuck about what other people think. I felt like that should have carried over a little more in this season. And I know they were trying to tear down her character just so they can build her up and make her even better than before. But I still think that they should have made her stand up for herself with the bullies a little bit more. Because so let's get into some of the more parts that I did like. Now, Hopper's return was one of my favorite parts of this whole entire season. I just think that it was the perfect way to bring him back. He literally was in the gulag for a whole arc, bro. Man's had a whole rebuild arc where he became a fucking god. Hopper is a fucking god, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Now, I loved how Joyce carried herself throughout this season. I think that the beginning when she first got reintroduced and her trying to rebuild her life and just come to terms with what she has now and finally accept that her life is just good now. She lives in California. She's starting anew. You know what I mean? But everything changes when Russia is back in the picture and Hopper might be alive. Now, I think this was the perfect way to bring Hopper back. But I don't want to stay on the subject for too long because I do want to get into the villain. Now, the villain of this season is introduced and we find out later that it is Vecna. And Vecna, I think, is a great villain. I think the way they tied Vecna into the whole series as a whole and season 1, season 2, and season 3, how each monster and a villain of the season was controlled and created by him, and they were all indirectly and inadvertently under his control, and all of it was for one purpose. I don't want to get into the specifics and details of the show because I want everybody to go watch the show themselves, but I do want to touch on how I thought that Vecna was a perfect villain. Now, let's get into a little bit more of how they brought back into the picture and the limelight of Dungeons and Dragons. I love how they brought back the Hellfire Club and they made it a whole event. Like, they made it something that was still relevant. The kids didn't just grow up and forget about their childhood. No, maybe Lucas did in the beginning, which I think was also in itself a great character rebuild. How Lucas in the beginning wanted to be popular, wanted to be one of the jocks, wanted to be a cool guy, and then ended up going back to his roots and saving the fucking day. I love the scene where he beats the shit out of this. Okay, let me calm down, because I've seen a few videos on TikTok talking about how this character right here is actually a hero in himself, and I don't want to get into it a lot. I'll probably make a couple of TikTok shorts on how he is a hero and how he, in his own terms, is somebody who he thought was doing the right thing when he didn't know all of this shit was happening in the background. So now, before I arrive to my final point and closure of this video with we all know the hero of Hawkins, I wanted to say I know I glossed over a lot of shit in this season. There was just so much good stuff. Steve Harrington, the relationship repair between Steve and Nancy was amazing. The split up, how the group was in Cali and the group was also in Hawkins, and how they were all on their different things. The Nina project. There was just so much shit that I can't talk about all in one video, but I did want to mention a few of my favorite things in the season. And honorable mentions, I'd probably say Murray. He was one of the GOAT characters of this season. This scene right here and this scene right here, bonkers, bro. Absolute bonkers. When he fucking took over this plane and when he fucking torched the Demodogs and the fucking what is his name? The Demogorgon. I was livid, my motherfucker. I've always been a fan of Murray. I've always thought he was one of the good characters. But anyway, let's get to the final point. The man, the myth, the legend, Eddie Munson. When I tell you, I got up out of my fucking seat when I saw him playing Master of Puppets. I am a metalhead amongst metalheads, bro. I love metal, especially Metallica. I don't even want to get into it. Black Sabbath's one of my favorite bands. I love metal, dude. Okay, now with that being said, I think that this scene was perfectly executed. I think the factor of the song only being released literally a week or two, I think it was 2 weeks before this event happened, meaning that he would have had to have learned the song in a week because he was in captivity for a week. He couldn't be out in public. He would have had to learn this song within a week of it coming out. Master of Puppets, the whole song in a week. Now that's just what people are saying, but it makes sense because this is when the song came out, and then this is when the date of him playing the song is. Now, if you want to get technical with it, I guess you can say that it's it might be a different universe. I don't know, whatever you want to say. But I'm going by when the song came out in our universe, which is this date. So, thank you. Shut the fuck up. Now, what I wanted to get into was a couple of my predictions and what I think is going to happen in the fifth season. Now, a couple of the deaths that hit me very hard were one, of course, Eddie. Eddie's death was very difficult for me. I was fucking crying, bawling my eyes out, if you will. I was crying and throwing up immensely, nigga. I was dying. I couldn't believe it. I was fucking mad as shit. I was rushed with emotions. I didn't know what to do. I was like, if they kill this character, I'm gonna flip a fucking brick, dude. I don't know what to do. And they ended up killing him off. And what I think is going to happen with Eddie is, I honestly, if you didn't know, there is a character called Cass the Bloody Handed. Now, Cass the Bloody Handed is a character, from my understanding, in Dungeons & Dragons that is prophesized to be the right-hand man of Vecna, the spellcaster, and ends up, like Satan and God, betraying Vecna and becoming a vampire, which in terms of Dungeons and Dragons is a human being that dies and succumbs to dies from bat bites and succumbs to his wounds and becomes a undead knight. Now, what happened in Stranger Things season 4? Eddie Munson is attacked by a horde of upside down bats. Now, why is this important? Because in Stranger Things, it is a reoccurring theme that Dungeons and Dragons is a underlying story plot line. Like, it is a literal kind of like a map, if you would say, of what is going to happen and how the characters are lying out the villains and naming them, if you will. Now, I think the Duffer Brothers are going deeper than just names alone. I think they're going to play a hand in it and make Eddie a prophesized vampire of the Upside Down. I think Eddie is going to be one of the driving power forces in season 5. I think they're going to need it. The world is literally fucking ending, and they're going to need more than one power source other than L to fight Vecna. Now, I've heard a few things float around about L's sister. I don't remember what her number was. I think it was like 13 or like 12 or some shit like that. Her sister, the one with the mohawk, is supposedly gonna come back, but I don't know. That could just be a rumor. I don't really, honestly, I didn't fuck with that part of the show. In season 3, it just wasn't that cool to me. How L came back and was like bitching. That shit wasn't funny to me. But anyway, I wanted to keep this video short. So I also think that one of my predictions is Max. Max was supposed to die, right? I think what they're gonna do with Max is make her sort of a Avatar-like character. Now, I've heard this. This wasn't my idea. I've heard people say this, and don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure. They could go a completely different route with this and make it even more dark and end up killing her off, or like end up making it like a driving force in why the group wants to win is to save Max. I don't know. But I think what they're gonna personally do is make her like a bridge between the Upside Down and the overworld. I think they're gonna make her the one who can see. Oh, you know how? Okay, let me put it into perspective. You know how Will can sense shit with his neck? He can fucking use his little neck hairs to sense shit. Yeah, I think they're gonna use that factor with Max. They're gonna make her kind of like an avatar. They're gonna make her able to bridge between the two worlds, and she's going to be able to like fucking telepathically control shit. But I think she's also gonna have limits. Like, she's gonna be blind still. She's gonna be deaf. I don't know. I just think that she's not gonna be able to do as much shit, but she's gonna be able to do a lot of shit, if you know what I mean. Now, that's all I wanted to say for today, guys. I don't want to get too into the details of my thoughts and shit. I just wanted to come on here and fuck, just let out all my emotions for this show. It was fucking crazy, dude. I loved it. Season 4 was this shit. Congrats to the Duffer Brothers. They deserve all the success and glory for this season. Eddie Munson, he deserves the glory. If you're watching this, Joseph Quinn, you're the GOAT. I fucking love the performance. Keep it up, guys. And that's all I got to say. And stay sturdy, my friends.